Most of us have been taught that the secret to building wealth is just earning more money. A bigger paycheck, a better job, right? But what if I told you that's not the real story? We're about to unpack the 5 most common habits that keep people feeling financially stuck no matter what they earn. And we'll see the one core principle the wealthy use to actually grow their money over time.
Okay, so it really all boils down to 2 completely different ways of thinking about money. On one side, you've got the lottery winner mindset. This is all about hoping for that one big lucky break. It's reactive. But on the other side, we have the wealthy gardener mindset. This one is all about patience and deliberately planting seeds for the future. One person is waiting for a windfall, the other is building their own.
So let's tackle that first big, tempting habit, believing the myth that if you just earned more, all your money problems would just vanish. The truth is, for most people, more income just leads to more spending. It's this trap called lifestyle inflation, and that's the second bad habit. It's the reason you can get a huge raise and still feel just as broke as you did before.
And this quote, wow, it perfectly sums up the third and maybe the most destructive habit of that lottery winner mindset. It's this idea that you treat saving like an afterthought. It's something you do with the scraps, if there are any. But let's be real. How often are there really any leftovers at the end of the month? Exactly. So nothing gets saved and that cycle just keeps on going.
All right, so we've got the mindsets down. Now let's look at how these 2 ways of thinking actually play out in the real world, step by step. Because the order in which you do things with your money, well, it's everything. It is literally the difference between being controlled by your money and taking control of it.
So here it is, the path most people take. And this is really the result of the last 2 poor habits, not having a system and just relying on hope. Step 1, you earn money. Great. Step 2, you spend it. On bills, on fun, on everything. And then step 3, you kind of look at what's left over and maybe save a little bit. See that question mark? It's there for a reason. This isn't a plan, it's a wish.
But now look at the gardener's path. It completely flips the script. You still earn your money, that's step 1. But look at step 2. The very first thing you do is pay your future self. You put money away for your savings and investments first, before anything else. And then step 3 is simple. You live on what's left. Saving becomes this non-negotiable first move, not some hopeful afterthought.
And this right here, this brings us to the single most important foundational habit of the wealthy gardener. It's the one move that cancels out all 5 of those poor habits we talked about. And believe it or not, it's incredibly simple. It's the principle of pay your future first.
So what does that actually look like in practice? It means you start treating your savings like it's your most important bill of the month. You set up an automatic transfer, so the second your paycheck lands in your account, a piece of it is immediately moved to your savings or investment accounts. It's a system, it's automatic, it takes all the emotion and guesswork out of building wealth.
So, the big question is, how much? How much should you be setting aside? Well, the recommended starting point is 15%. Before you pay a single bill, before you buy groceries, you slice off 15% for your future self. And this isn't just some random number. It's the seed that's big enough to actually allow for meaningful growth in your financial garden.
Now, that 15% is actually the cornerstone of a really simple but powerful game plan for your money. It's called the 15-65-20 framework, and you can think of this less like a strict budget and more like a system that gives every single dollar you earned a very specific job to do. Here's how it all breaks down. That first 15%, that goes straight to your future self. That's for your investments, your retirement, your big savings goals. The biggest slice, 65%, that's for your core living expenses. The must-haves like housing, food, and transportation. And that final 20%, that's for your lifestyle, for fun. And here's why this is so brilliant. It creates totally guilt-free spending. You can enjoy that 20% to the fullest because you know your future is already taken care of. So as we start to wrap this up, you can see it all comes back to a pretty simple choice. This isn't about hoping you win the lottery, it's about deciding to be a gardener. It's a conscious choice to trade a few reactive, unhelpful habits for one proactive, powerful system. And honestly, the best part is that you can make that choice right now, today, no matter how much money you make. So in the end, this is the question that really matters. Your financial future isn't a jackpot you stumble upon. It's a garden that you have to tend to, seed by seed, habit by habit. The path to getting ahead is, a little boring, but it absolutely works. So, what are you gonna plant today?